Hello, London. I hope everyone is fine. We are in another sales frequency, this time with a great guest. But before that, of course, hi, Will. How are you doing?
Hey, how's this? I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Different locations today, yeah? But technology is magic. Yeah, so we have with us Jose Ángel. Jose Ángel is director of consultancy in development systems. Development systems is one of our sister and most friendly and alliance. I mean, everything you can name it about the company and the team. And we are very privileged. Hi, Jose Ángel. Thank you very much
Hi,
for being with us.
good afternoon. Thank you. I'm so happy to be with you today, having a conversation about something that is going to come sooner than we think to every organization.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for those that you don't know, Consalia is a strong partner of development systems. Indeed, we are participated companies together in a global alliance. Development systems is a leader in Spain and Latin America on anything around. Well, maybe you introduce better the company and yourself.
Yeah, we've been in the change management and business transformation consulting since 40 years now. We have offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Lisbon, and several countries in Latin America. So when it comes to transform people, even if we are talking about AI or software or systems, we in 2025 we still talk about people and transforming people and mindset. So after almost 50 years, we are more convinced than ever that this is the key factor when you want to transform your business.
I love your word still, because I hope that still goes for long, right? Still talking about people and helping people for many, many, many more years. So
Well,
yeah, I think
sometimes people seems like an old-fashioned word when you're talking about AI.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So would you know that we've done recently a partnership together with Aviso, this great Californian company, which they have an amazing sales revenue platform powered by AI. So, we thought, why don't we speak with our Spanish partner and Latin American partner, and let's see if they are looking into the same kind of challenges and issues in companies in Spain and Latin America, right? Regarding AI. So I think we've divided this kind of informal, friendly chat in several sections. The first one maybe is talking about the reality of AI in sales teams, no? So, and AI has different kind of form factors, right? Could be like just use the chat GPT or something very advanced like a full suite that covers end to end. Could be machine learning, could be many, 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 many more things, right? So how do the sales teams, how do you see the sales teams in Spain and Latin America are really feeling about AI? Is like cautious, curious, confused, a mix?
I think a mix of everything you have said. Um, we are in development systems. We are now in a very, I think, in a very beautiful moment. We are having the first conversations with our clients about Aviso, about AI applied to the sales function, and we are discovering a lot of things like hidden feelings. Let me explain myself. What I observe is something similar to what happened with the recent or not so recent CRM implementations or evolutions. First of all, sales reps, they tend to think the reality is special. Every one of them tend to think the reality is special. My clients are different. This new method doesn't apply to me because my business cannot be standardized. Reps usually work alone, and they need to think that nothing new that comes from headquarters or even worse from outside my organization, from a startup based on California, is able to transform my ways of working and add me real value. And it is true that the most tech profiles in a sales force are playing with AI some way or another, but even these people are skeptical about how or even if AI is going to transform the sale function. If AI is going to improve their day to day with their clients, because and it is funny, but they are using AI at a personal level before they are using AI at work. And many of them are great using AI at a personal level before using AI at work. They use AI to plan a trip or to do their children's homework, or I don't know. But this is perhaps the first time in history this happened when it comes to technology. And that leads us to the third word you said, confusions, because many of them are misunderstanding what AI really is. I mean, Meta or Alphabet are in some way trying to figure out what AI can do for them and us. They are investing on a promise. They are investing against the chance of losing a train. So this must not be surprising, but Reds, big people as they are way far from understanding what AI can do for them today or in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. We see that around 94% of sales reps in some of the stats that we have here have access to some kind of form of AI, but really only 6% are really using it, which says a lot about adoption, right? As you say, it looks like they're happy to experiment in their own private lives, and the businesses maybe more tricky. Do you think there is a gap between the leaders' vision on AI and the day-to-day reality on the sales floor?
I believe sales rep cannot imagine another additional reporting tool when they haven't recovered yet from the shock of reporting visits and client meetings with Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics. But yes, of course, I mean, some of them are asking this question and seeing some ghosts. They're wondering what's wrong. Something must be wrong with this. This is another reporting tool. Perhaps many reps think AI will help them, but not so soon, not in the near future, as I said.
Yeah. It feels like, I mean, certainly from conversations we're having, the more senior you are, the more you realize that you need to at least consider or explore how AI can improve effectiveness and efficiency for sales teams. And so many customers are open to exploring the discussion. But I think there's a bit of when you were talking, Jose, and I was reflecting on it, it's different when it comes to sort of your frontline sales team.
Yeah.
The people who are on the ground, who have to do all of the reporting, have to make sure all of the data they're inputting into CRM or everything like that is accurate, forecasting is accurate, etc. And the pressures of reaching targets and things like that introducing new ways of working or a new tool without being, I guess, included within the scoping of any new AI tool could lead to situations where there is distrust. So going back to what you were talking about, nothing new is good, for example. It makes you can sort of understand it because it's just another change initiative. And I think as we've spoken a lot about this, I think people are experiencing a bit of change fatigue over the last 5 years, going through COVID and then all this global economic uncertainties and things like that. So
sometimes we say, Will, nothing new is good, and it's so true. Nothing new is good until it proves good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So ask AI, what are we going to do for me? I don't want to make an effort for you. You want to help me from the very beginning, but this is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the fact that you draw the comparison of like the different how people are adopting AI kind of at a human level. So from a personal standpoint, using AI to like find flights, book holidays, using ChatGPT, because I relate to that a lot. I was like a very an early adopter in that sense, and then slowly it's been integrated into my work processes and things like that. But what we're now seeing is all of these kind of AI tech companies, B2B tech companies, are now everywhere. And the hardest thing now is how do you cut through that noise? How do you know, without trialing, testing, and working with the tool, whether or not it's going to improve my win rates, or if it's going to make me more efficient at selling, or if it's going to save me time in administrative tasks, or what have you. All the reasons why we personally adopt AI, you kind of want to see those effects on in a professional world as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I see, guys, this as a wave. If you think about it, in 2007, the iPhone was introduced, right? And then the iPhone came with apps, and these apps. So before that, you went into the website, look for the travel agency or whatever, and book your things. Then we moved from the website to the apps, not 100%, but quite massively, right? And now we are moving. There is another wave coming now, because if you think about it, it's not just AI. All the search, engines, Google, everyone is including AI in the searches. The search engines like ChatGPT and OpenAI are, launching Perplexity, are launching new browsers, AI powered. So, I mean, it's a big change. What's going to happen in the personal usage of the technology right now? And I think this is going to be like a big wave that is going to be coming to the companies very quickly, right? Some companies maybe going faster than others. But how do you think we can reframe AI in a way that if the root problem is the mindset, is this fatigue that Will is mentioning, what do you think how we could reframe AI to try to attract and accelerate adoption?
Well, continuing with what you were saying, Jesus, in 2025, joining winning platforms like Aviso, it requires in some way a leap of faith, because it's so new, it's so disruptive, it's so transforming. If you want to be an early adopter and leverage AI to get a competitive advantage, you have to give this leap of faith. If you want to be the last adopter, okay, don't worry. The business case will be crystal clear in 2028. But if you want AI to be something that gives you something ahead of your competition, you have to believe in this. You can't not ask AI for the ROI, in the first day.
Yeah, very true. You have to experiment, right? But some organizations we see, they are not ready for experiment, or they've had some bad experiences, so it's not so easy. Yeah. So
I think it's. I mean, going back to your question, how do we reframe our AI? It's really about identifying a challenge or a problem or a process or workflow within your organization, and addressing where people are spending time on perhaps administrative tasks. And in a sales context, it's like what you want is a salesperson to be selling 100% of the time. So if they are spending 30% of their time doing administrative tasks like data entry, reporting, logging, this kind of thing. And then you present AI, you reframe AI and say, look, I can promise you'll never have to do this again. And in fact, it's going to be more accurate. And the insights that you gather over time is going to make you more client-centric. It's going to give you more insights to connect to your customer better. Then I would have thought, though, open for debate here, this is a friendly chat, that 100% of sales reps would say, yes, please, can I have it?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, pricing and everything else is out of the equation here, right?
Indeed, I love what you said, because it's like So we are talking all the time about how the sales mindset, how to embed the sales mindset into the sales reps and sales teams. But also the sales enablement team and the leaders have to embed themselves, the sales mindsets, to sell the idea that AI is the way to go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The- about this reframing question, Jesus, I think that the correct headline would be something like another way of working. That's why AI really means beyond the hype, and every transformative change of your ways of working implies a process of change management, of changing people, not only databases or software as a service. It's all about three words: enhancing people's capabilities. And in these three words, people is the central one, is the key one. How I will prepare a visit, how I will have one-to-one meetings with manager, the data entry, as Will said, that is required to me after every visit. You will have more time to work on what you consider important, and even your goals, your objectives will change. Everything is going to change, not only the software. Your day is going to change. This CRM didn't change your day as much as we like to think, but AI will.
Yeah. Yeah. Which probably drives me to the, or us to the second section of today's, right? So second section is about, okay, why don't we talk about why the AI adoption is failing and what is working, what actually works, right? So we see that some people are, have custom change fatigue. They are executive. I never pronounced that properly. In adopting AI, some people might see AI like surveillance instead of support or help. What do you see when you talk to your companies, Jose Ángel, in Spain and Latin America? Of course, you touch a lot of customers from finance to customer. I mean, FCMG, insurance, etc. What is the perception that they are sharing with you?
Yeah, what we are saying and what we are serving here in Spain, extending to Latin America, also in Latin, is a, let me put this that way. We are observing a complete lack of consciousness about change management. And some of our clients say, okay, yes, I did some awareness workshops, and I brought to my company a guru that gave my team some speeches and so forth. But it was all done in the first month, and nobody asked about AI anymore in the in the next 6 months. And they're still paying Copilot's licenses, waiting for employees
Yeah.
to naturally or organically use AI. They do like one-off effort at the very beginning of the project, and then they forget about it, but they're still paying the licenses. For me, persistence is key. And we believe success can be measured in the 6 months, not in the first one. I mean, attendance to an AI workshop is not success, it is execution. Success can be measured after 4 to 6 months using a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to just to add, I mean, the question kind of why do so many people see AI tools as surveillance instead of support? And I think there's sort of two angles for this, which is one is looking at implementing AI to to use as like a management tool in order to kind of really beat your sales teams around the head to make sure that to increase their call numbers or things like that. I think that's a question on management technique, and it needs to be reframed. Going back to the earlier question, it needs to be reframed that AI is an assistant, right? It's an assistant to improve how you can be more efficient. But the insights you can gather from AI based technologies, and I've seen the Aviso platform. I know there's other platforms as well that specialize in different areas too. And some of these insights are incredible. You can start looking at what best practice, is. You can see what works across a huge range of different kind of profiles if you're selling to certain ICPs and things like that. So when I look at it and I'm thinking, well, if there are areas personally that I can improve, and I can compare my insights with candidates or what have you, and I have a manager who's able to coach me to kind of provide that safe space in order to try new things, take new risks, so, grow outside my comfort zone. That's a positive initiative. So yes, I would caution any sales rep to question whether or not this is really used for surveillance, or whether or not it's really going to be used as a tool to help you improve. And I understand we all have worked with managers that can be quite challenging. Not looking at anyone here, but by the way, but if you have a supportive manager, a great culture to trial new things, it should never, these new tools should never be viewed as an additional surveillance thing.
Yeah. Sometimes I see, companies are saying, well, yeah, we are developing a new AI project. Okay, fine. And they start to talk about it, and they start to talk about technology. Okay, fine. What about the people? What about the processes? What about the use case, right? It's not throwing to the sales professional, just use ChatGPT and you will be better in your work, right? People need guidance. People need specific use cases because AI is not fixing everything. So normally you just focus on narrow avenues to really get the best out of the AI, right? And it looks to me that sometimes people is very focused on the technology and the AI and this kind of hype, but not so worried about how is gonna be adoption, how is it how people is gonna be embracing it. Are they having the right processes? Are they having the right skills? Are they having the right motivation? I think we were saying very, very, very wisely, if I promise you will never, ever, ever, ever will do certain administrative things, right? And people will. So do you think that people is more focused on having AI at what cost, at whatever cost, and maybe with no plans? Or do you see, Jose Ángel, in the Spanish and Latin American companies, that people is not just doing that, but having sometimes a strategy with the processes, with reflection, etc.?
Yes, I think people is too focused on features, and I see that these projects are being managed by IT people, because AI sounds so technical and so complex. So let the transformation guy do this. Okay, so let's go back to the CRM. Think of I don't know, a Microsoft Dynamics training. It's all about fields and buttons and filters. This training. Well, I mean, some use cases are shown, but these trainings are made to train people to follow orders on a screen. So AI usually doesn't have like these clear structured use cases as CRM had. Use cases are adapted to every user, and users will love this fact eventually, but not today. For a start, you must help AI to let it help you back. You must know how the features, what the features are, but then select the ones that will help you the most in your specific situation, in your specific area, with your specific clients. But this requires practicing and finding your place in the AI platform. And I know, and I hear sometimes, if AI is so smart, let's ask AI what they can do for me in the first place. If I'm going to need people to implement this, what's the AI for? But that's not how it works. at least the first day. But I understand people see, especially sales reps, the one executing the processes, think of AI as a policeman. I understand it. I mean, it's logical and it's human. I also reckon that sales reps love freedom. You know, they often complain about working alone, but they love autonomy. They love having their own process. You know, and I will not blame anyone for being suspicious when they are told an artificial intelligence agent will be reading their mails or attending to their meetings to coach them. I understand people saying, so it wasn't enough with my boss. Now I have another one. What is this artificial guy going to teach me?
Which is 24/7 observing you.
It's a concept very hard to admit. And we have to understand that also. That's why organizations must be patient and persistent throughout the change management process, besides buying AI licenses.
Yeah. You know, a few days ago, I was hearing a very nice podcast. It was a chief technology officer question about AI of a software as a service company, and he was introducing a lot of AI initiatives within their company. And he said, sometimes I think that the CTO is the CHRO of the future, because they are developing AI agents doing tasks that employees do. And then it's like, so I think, back to your comment, Jose Ángel, many times AI projects are managed or led by the IT department. Do you think, guys, this is good or should be this way? Because I mean, AI is not just technology, right? It goes well beyond. It's about people and transformation and adoption and change the way we do. So I'm not sure if IT alone should be leading that.
In my opinion, the IT department must be involved from the very beginning, because they are a qualified opinion. There are some revelations that we have to handle because there are issues with data clients data and so forth. But I'm convinced this mustn't be the only guy managing this project, and the organizations are really underestimating the journey to get to leverage AI. I mean, how you must carefully build a plan to gradually adopt the different use cases, how you must convince your team and prove your team step by step that AI is really helpful to them, how you must show the later adopters these best practices that are driving success in the early adopters group in your organization, how you must identify gaps in the key competencies that AI needs to leverage its potential. AI is going to show some new needs, new capacities that you have to develop in your company. You didn't know you have to develop before playing with AI, And one of these competencies is persistence, being able to handle frustration when you are not the very the most technical guy in the field.
I completely agree with what you just said, and I think and it goes back to what you were mentioning before about any kind of change management initiative. So if you're implementing a new way of doing something, and it's been driven by IT or someone technical who don't have a close understanding of the realities that, be it sales or any other function within the business, they really have to. They need to bring those stakeholders on the journey with them. So although yes, IT needs to be involved right at the start, it's really important that there's buy-in, that they're from an early stage, that this is going to improve. This is going to improve the frontline salesperson. This might improve the sales manager, sales leadership, the CRO, what have you. So you need to work with all of these key stakeholders in order to embed a new technology in this case.
So what do you think, guys? I fully agree with what you're saying, both. How do you think we could, so when we are having conversations with a customer and says, well, yeah, I'm the CTO, I'm in technology, I'm doing some analysis on AI for the sales teams. How do you think we can motivate, persuade, engage the other areas, especially the sales chief revenue officer or the chief sales operations or enablement, HR, even the sales reps themselves, right? What do you think we can suggest for the team, for these kind of teams to work together, and what would be the right mindsets to use through the process?
I would say a couple of things. Start with something little but real and quick. I mean, a chief revenue officer wants results now, so let's adapt. Let's speak the language. No, let's find the points in the sales process that he's suffering more of. But let's in this huge landscape of features that a platform like Aviso can offer us, and let's choose 2 or 3, and let's start working on them tomorrow.
What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to unravel your question a little bit, Jesus. So are you asking how do you bring people along with you? Yeah, I'm not sure if I fully understood your question.
So I mean, many of these. So when you are a CEO in many companies, everyone in the CEO, they say, and there are we have a lot of stats. They say 3 out of 3 have AI in their first top 3 topics, whatever they have for their strategic agenda for next year, etc. Right? And the next thing they do is, hey, CTO, this is AI, this is technology. Come back with a plan, right?
Yeah,
that's okay. Many people.
Yeah, so I think in many ways, I mean, this is such a golden period for AI, right? Because as you just mentioned, and we mentioned at the beginning, I would say, most boards, most senior C-level stakeholders are considering AI at this moment. And then unraveling that, it goes back to what Jose was saying, is really identifying the areas of the business where it can add the most value. And it could be around enablement, or it could be around reducing costs in other areas or whatever. But you need to decide what are the quick wins. What are the quick wins in your organization where AI can add a significant value? And it doesn't need to be overly complex, but it just needs to prove that it can intuitively work. And I think it's once you start proving use cases, you will inevitably move on to the next thing. And the next thing will be more impactful, and it will unlock other, you might start considering things around generative AI or something like that. But in the first instance, I think you just need to, at this early stage, it's about just proving the concept and clearly identifying that whatever you've integrated within your way of working has increased ROI or reduced operational costs or whatever. And so there's a reason to do this.
No, I agree with you guys. I mean, in the sense that it's better to start little, like a test or pilot with a very well-defined use case, very well-defined what to do, what to expect, what is the return on investment, and have a champions between across the organization, not just on the IT, but also on sales and some of the departments. And then once you prove that, then you extend, right?
I think the challenge might be, Jesus, and Jose, I could be interested in your opinion on this, is if you have a CEO, CTO, or a very senior stakeholder in an organization, they might want to apply AI in an area that isn't aligned to, say, in our discussion, a frontline salesperson. And so there's a disconnect there. So the frontline salesperson may not have the total buy-in of what the senior leadership team want to do, because they have different perspectives on things. And so it's being aware of those. I mean, we use the term currencies. It's being aware of the different currencies people have within an organization and communicating the reasons why we're doing things clearly across an organization. And I know that that's really oversimplifying things a lot, because as some of the organizations we work with are, teams work in matrix structures, and they're huge global entities, and communication can get lost. But yeah, that's just a comment I want to make. And I would be interested in your opinions on that too.
Go on, Jose.
Yeah, I think although the CTO has an opinion, in the end, to be honest, the company does what the CRO says most of the times, because for the CIO, the CRO has the most influential opinion. So let's convince the business guy with real use cases, but let's involve the whole board. Let's join them in a meeting room, and let's make them agree on some key points. Why do you want to use AI in the first place? What are you trying to get in the first place with AI? Because and let's narrow the gap between the leadership and the field force in terms of understanding what AI is and what want AI for. Because this gap exists in every industry and in every field. It happens even with corporate strategy. It is also difficult to bring down to earth your CEO's dreams of the new market vision or market positioning, for instance. And some leaders are more or less convinced of AI being the next big thing, although they do not completely understand what they are talking about. They feel they must start practicing the sooner the better, but I think companies like Consalia or Development Systems can help them come to an agreement about what AI is and what they want to do with AI.
Yeah, let's this drives us to the third area that we have for today, and I think it's one of the probably one of the most interesting ones, because if I can describe in just a small number of words what AI is going to be changing in sales, is the way people is going to be engaging and having relations, right, with their customers. Because AI is going to be helping on many things, taking administrative tasks out, accelerating customer research or industry research, advising how to be more with a better mindset. So the third area we wanted to talk with you, Jose, today is about how we can make AI work and what should be the advantage that AI may give us in terms of mindsets. I mean, you know that Consalia is strongly based on, and I know that this conversation will be a loved conversation with Phil, our CEO, because of course he's the father of the 4 sales mindsets of Consalia. But our 4 sales mindsets are authenticity, client centricity, proactive creativity, and tactful audacity, right? So that all our programs, all our consulting, everything is based on that, because we have proven that by having the right mindsets on the sellers, you increase your win rates, you increase your velocity, pipeline velocity, you increase everything, you improve in everything, right? But AI is changing the way we will probably behave, right? Because it will be easier to do reports, easier to do recommendations, but still you need to be the one hearing and listening the customer, having some reflection, right? So do you think that the AI is going to be a game changer just per se, or do you think that it will be like a multiplier or provide an augmentation of the sales mindsets? Do you think we should maybe think that with the arrival of AI, we need to think on all the sales mindsets that maybe become important as well on top of the four? What is your position according to the conversations you've had so far?
Hmm. I think that's not an easy question, because there's still a lot to see in the future. We're discovering things and learning every day, but I think AI can challenge what we think are the best ways to manage clients. I mean, sometimes we credit to a best practice this technique or this way to handle an objection, or why a sales rep has this great closure rate. But the truth is that there are many factors, many parameters that explain this closure rate. For instance, only a system that analyzes everything, every cycle that is happening in your organization, every deal won or lost, every interaction with your clients, every mail to a client, is able to give you advice that add value or complement pillars like Consalience one, which will be valid in the future, I think, but will be able to be advised or complemented or slightly changed by what AI has to say in every organization. I mean, you will have these four pillars, for example, and they will be valid. But when you adapt it to them to every company, I think AI has something to say. Will have something to say.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think as us that AI is going to enable more client centricity, more tactful audacity, more proactive creativity and authenticity. And I think the expectation of people buying is going to want to see that, you come to a sales conversation with more research, for example, that you mentioned, and things like that. I think the skill for sales and for sales professional is going to come down to critical reflection, and really asking the right probing questions of any AI system to be able to kind of differentiate almost the outcomes that it is offering you. I mean, the danger, I know it's really difficult to envisage a world in which everything is AI driven. I can't, my brain's not big enough for that. But from a human point of view, it's going to come down to, are you just taking all of this data and insight for granted, or are you questioning it as well? And if you're questioning it, what is it about the outcomes it's giving you, or the suggestions it's giving you, or things like that, that you agree, or why is it saying these kind of things? What is it about myself that I need to be changing or amending or improving? And that's quite a human thing. And so I don't know how I'm going to conclude this, but until there's a world in which B2B sales is all driven by AI without a human involved, at some point there's going to be, until that world happens, at some point human is going to be of increasing value to the relationship with that customer. And so to really cultivate such a strong relationship, you need to be having the best practice and all of the sales mindsets that you've just mentioned. And to do that, you need critical reflection. That's
Wow.
how I conclude it.
I know, Will, you're going to be killing me after the session with these questions out of the outline. But I think that's fact a very good idea, right? So, because if the AI helps us to be more authentic, more client-centric, to be more audacious, right, tactfully, and to have more creativity and be more proactive on having it, then critical reflection might become the fifth mindset that goes across the other four. Just imagine, right? So if this is a thing for Phil, this is the doctor, right? But yeah, maybe this is the fifth one, right? Because you know that we are. We're not going to be saying too much about that because there is an announcement, but we are working with Aviso not just on helping and supporting companies on the full transformation with people, processes, technology, and strategy. But beyond that, we are doing innovation. So we are doing some innovation between our sales mindsets and the AI of Avisos, right? So imagine that the AI is able to evaluate if you're being client-centric, if it's able to help you to be more client-centric, and it's advising you how to do it, then the next wave for me is if everyone is having access to an AI helping him to be more client-centric, authentic, etc. What is the different thing from one seller to the other? How you compete? And potentially this critical reflection, which is such a human thing, might be the answer or part of the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now is the key silence.
The value that I think is more interestingly affected by AI, speaking of Consalia's values, is client centricity. I mean, some may think client centricity is going to be threatened by AI because AI will automate everything and the client is going to be managed almost without human interaction. And it is funny, but I believe AI can make us listen better to our clients. AI can help us make the right questions, adapt our proposals to our clients, identify hidden objections or even our buyers' emotions. You know, the client, I think he's going to be best treated than ever. And I think the client will agree with this eventually. The client won't necessarily feel you have used AI to manage.
Yeah, I think one of the question marks based on this discussion I'm thinking about is authenticity. So how can you, if you're selling to a customer, they recognize that what you're presented is all driven and positioned by AI. Mm-hmm. How authentic can you be on a human level when they can, it's obvious. And I think it's a question that I think in this future world, customers are going to really value the kind of human authenticity, but how that manifests itself is something I'll leave for Dr. Phil to
of course, Dr. Phil it has to have all the responses to it. For that. But as I'm thinking that on the authenticity topic that you mentioned, even if the AI is helping you to prepare anything for a customer, so it's prepared by the AI, but it's not like, people think sometimes that it's like a button. So you just click a button, make a prompt, and it works. And sometimes it's not. You have to do iterations. And here is where there is some kind of training or education or help from the human to really do it. So how this AI works is that the first 10, 20% are from the humans, or 10%, I would say, and 80% is from the machine. And then the last 10% with critical reflection is the human. So the human is not a way of the equation, right? It's at the beginning and it's at the end. So that's why, as of now, maybe in 2 months, AI goes so fast that the human is out of some of these spaces. But But I believe that still we have a role to play, and it's about to prepare and train all this AI, which we've seen that, right? When you start with AI, it's like you're starting to coach a baby. So you need to go through primary, secondary, a grade and PhD. So it's a journey, right? And some people think that just try once and then that's not working. Well, you've not trained it, right? So yeah, but I fully agree. I mean, authenticity is going to be probably the most threatened, right? In terms of people thinking that maybe it's not you, the one that has prepared and know exactly what you're talking about.
But speaking about training the platform, Jesus, what's the platform? We cannot forget the platform learns from us. It's not otherwise. At least in the current time, some people will ask, or some sales reps will ask. So once the AI platform is trained for me, it will fire me. But AI reps will always have the control of their clients, of their proposals. Only some, I think, only some parts of the process will be embedded in an AI platform and being autonomy, being executed with autonomy. If AI shows us that it's better to send an email 3 days after sending a proposal to ask the client, okay, hey, have you seen the proposal? Let's talk about it. Give me please some slots and to go deeper into the proposal and discuss your doubts. Well, as this email is not going to add any specific value to the relationship, since this mail is what it is, the key is that these mails are sent, are not forgotten in your Outlook, that you don't miss any of these mails. But when it comes to design a conversation with a client, it cannot be made by a machine, because at least today, the one buying, as I said, is a person. So you know what this person really wants, what this person is really worried about. You feel in a human interaction what the other person is thinking and not saying sometimes. And AI, I believe it will give you some advice about something that you can include in the conversation, you as a human. Some things that should be brought again to the client's table, some intelligent questions that other colleagues of you have done earlier with success, but you manage the conversation, you have the control of the conversation, and you will see as time goes by that AI is more and more useful as and learns from your organization and your clients and your colleagues. But the control should be always yours. And since you have new ideas in your client's table, your proactivity and your creativity will look more brilliant the client afterwards.
And that's how it's working now, right? Even if you use some platform like our partner one, Aviso, in full, right? You can automate everything, but you have to lead. I want to automate. I want you to do this yourself, right? Without me, any intervention from me. So it's something that the sales professional is still on lead, right? And I truly believe that in the moment there is a human connection between seller and buyer, AI is not gonna be for years. Even with, I'm advocate of AI. I'm advocate of the speed of how it's going to be progressing. But the human connection creating between two humans, at least for some time, I don't think it's going to train a machine to do 100%. It will be always a 1%, a 2%, a 5%, 10%, whatever, which is, as of today, difficult to substitute, right? And you can see that. If I ask you something and then you say, a basic answer, the machine is not insistent, but maybe I detect something, I insist, and then you don't say nothing on the second one. I insist again, and on the third one, you start talking about 30 minutes because you are even crying or doing whatever, right? So these emotions are not so easy when even with the machine is there, right? And also there are changes on the humans. Humans are not like behaving the same all the time in all the meetings, right? So you can train a machine on a human interaction with a special customer, a special person, and maybe the first 5 interactions are super happy, something happened on his life, and then next ones are different, right? So yeah, there is something there that is like the secret human source, right? Which is the last mile is going to be difficult, but as of now, I think it helps a lot. I mean, we see that just to close the start closing. We have I mean, Satya Nadella, you know this guy, right? He said recently that the SaaS model is broken. AI agents will soon rewire how we think about work. What do you think, guys, about that?
I'll let Jose go first on this one.
Well, I think it depends on what every organization decides. Everyone is going to create its own future. The costs were higher before when organizations implemented CRM. I think they spent more money that they have to invest on AI to start playing and getting results. So it is not a matter of money. The technology is out there and is going to evolve very, very quickly. I think things are going to happen, but every leader decides his company's destiny through his decisions, and it's going to act and be brave, but also it's time to not forget what the human role plays here, because then you are driving yourself to a cliff.
Very good. And
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, just in the context of, I guess, the news and what we're hearing about AI and question marks over, is this a bubble or not? I think it's an important one to address, because whilst I kind of understand we're all kind of in the hype of AI at the moment, then what's happening is AI is like the future of AI is going to impact all of us to a varying degree. But it's so difficult to know at this stage exactly what that world looks like, especially with all the sort of hype around it. We were at a breakfast briefing not that long ago, Jesus, where a gentleman was telling me this. It feels like we're entering into a different industrial era, and at the moment, what we're doing is everyone's just laying down the tracks, and we, how we see what's going to sit on top of that is something for up to discussion and debate. But
yeah,
I
we
don't
are
think
entering.
it's not going away though. That's I think that's the message, right?
We are entering another multiverse, right? If we can use this terminology. But my position, guys, is that I believe this is here to stay. So I prefer to be part of the people and the team that is building and creating what the future looks like, rather than trying to, doing other things or just. So I think it's it change is complicated always, but we prefer to be side of the team and the people and the companies driving the change and creating the future. And why not? Sometimes failing, sometimes not. But it's this experimentation with prudency is what probably we are more thinking about. So I think this is more or less. I don't know if you have any final comments, guys, but I think we are good to go. Thank you very much, Jose Ángel. It's always.
Thank you very much, and it's lovely to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person in London on the 27th.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so see you in a couple of weeks here in London, and